The skies above Erebos Prime burned red as the first orbital salvos struck. The Zor Dominion had not come to negotiate, nor to warn. Their armadas, serrated and gleaming with plasma lances, descended upon the human colony as though they were erasing a chalk mark on stone. They broadcast their arrival across open channels, not to parley, but to revel. Primitive bipeds, soft-blooded vermin. This world is ours now. Kneel or perish. The colony's defense grid lasted less than an hour. Civilian transports were plucked from orbit like fragile birds, their hulls igniting before they could flee. Shore cruisers strafed residential districts, tearing entire cities into glowing rubble. There was no military value in such brutality. The Zor simply enjoyed the spectacle. They relayed images of dying children, of shattered spires, of desperate civilians choking on smoke. And when the human envoy finally arrived, a single diplomat with no escort, carrying Earth's seal and the simple request for explanation, the Zor executed him on a galactic broadcast. His last words, "We seek peace, not war," were drowned in mocking laughter as his body was vented into the void. The Dominion feasted that night. Their commanders toasted to conquest, declaring humanity too fractured, too young, too weak to ever resist. They were wrong. The galaxy's mockery, the silence of Earth across the great halls of alien empires. Humanity became a punchline. The Terrans, laughed a Trilarch warlord. They breed quickly but die quicker. One colony gone, one envoy wasted, and already they hide behind their pale world. Merchants whispered that humans would sue for peace. Scholars predicted Earth would retreat into isolation, licking its wounds. Others wagered that the species would fracture, abandoning colonies, terrified to challenge the Dominion. And indeed, Earth said nothing. Weeks passed, then months. No fleet stirred. No counterattack came. No declaration of war was broadcast. Only silence. The Zor revelry grew louder. They built palaces from the ruins of Erebos Prime. They paraded human survivors in chains through their capitals. They called Earth civilized cattle, creatures too timid to bare their teeth. But deep in the forgotten reaches of Sol, beyond the gaze of alien empires, something began to stir. The awakening. Forgotten graves of steel. They had been abandoned for centuries. The Ark fleet of Sol, mothballed in hidden shipyards, sealed away after the wars of expansion when Earth swore never again to unleash such horrors. Colossal dreadnoughts, rusting in orbit around dead moons. Siege platforms buried beneath the ice of Europa. Swarms of automated war machines slumbering in Martian vaults. Their cores locked behind protocols older than most colonies. They were not starships. They were cathedrals of annihilation. Relics of a darker age when humanity carved its place in the stars with blood and iron. Too terrible to use, too dangerous to dismantle, until now. The order came without fanfare. No speech, no broadcast, just 3 words encoded in the oldest command channels. Awaken the forgotten. Engineers wept as ancient reactors roared to life. Entire continents were plunged into blackout as power was diverted to orbital foundries. Forgotten shipyards split open, releasing titans the galaxy had prayed would never rise again. In the silence of deep space, dreadnoughts opened their eyes. Their names, Vengeance, Leviathan, Ashmaker, Widow of Suns, flickered back into the registry. Each a whisper of dread from history's darkest pages. The galaxy noticed too late. The gathering storm. When silence breaks at first, there were only rumors. Merchant vessels spoke of shadows eclipsing stars near the Sol corridor. Mining colonies reported fleets of black-armored ships moving without transponders. Alien intelligence networks scrambled, but every attempt to probe Earth's systems returned only silence. And then came the message. One single transmission, broadcast across all channels, repeated in every tongue known to the stars. This is Earth. You struck at our children. You mocked our mercy. Now you will learn why we buried our past. The forgotten have awoken. The Dominion laughed again. At first, until Earth's fleets arrived. They did not advance with diplomacy or ultimatums. They appeared without warning, tearing holes through slip space, disgorging titans bristling with guns older than entire alien civilizations. The first Dominion stronghold was erased in less than 10 minutes. Not conquered, not bombarded, erased. Orbital stations were sliced apart with particle lances that cut like surgical blades. Cities vanished in storms of tungsten rods. Entire continents reduced to glowing craters. Human boarding cadres in obsidian armor moved through ship corridors like phantoms, leaving nothing alive. The galaxy realized then, Earth's silence had never been weakness. It had been mourning, preparation, judgment. Fire across the stars. Humanity unbound. The war was not fought as wars had been. It was an execution. Human fleets moved with terrifying precision. Each strike was calculated, surgical, merciless. They did not linger. They did not boast. They came, destroyed, and vanished into slipspace like shadows. The Dominion responded with numbers. Hundreds of cruisers, entire armadas. It did not matter. Against Earth's dreadnoughts, they were children throwing stones at a storm. One dreadnought, the Widow of Suns, fired a single salvo that split a moon in half, eradicating 3 Dominion fleets sheltering in its shadow. Another, Ashmaker, deployed automated hunter-killers. Swarms of machines that infected enemy ships, turning their own weapons against them before detonating the core. Dominion command hubs fell one by one. What once were palaces of arrogance became ruins drowned in human fire. The galaxy watched in horror. The Terrans did not pause, did not negotiate, did not demand reparations. They simply advanced, leaving nothing behind but silence and ash. Alien scholars began whispering forbidden words. Extermination campaign. The shattering of the Dominion. Retribution made flesh. The final blow came at Karos Prime, the heart of the Dominion. The Jor assembled their greatest defense. 12 fleets. Millions of soldiers, fortresses carved into the crust of their homeworld. They broadcast their defiance across every channel, their warlords proclaiming they would break humanity here. The Terrans answered with silence, and then the sky darkened. It was not a fleet. It was an armada of leviathans, blotting out the sun. Dreadnoughts, carriers, siege platforms. A storm of metal so vast the night itself seemed to descend upon Karos. The battle was not a battle. It was annihilation. Orbital fortresses evaporated under coherent gamma beams. Fleets dissolved in seas of rail cannon fire, each projectile moving at a fraction of light speed, tearing ships into incandescent fragments. Human dropships fell like meteors, disgorging armored legions that advanced without pause, without mercy, without fear. The Jor screamed defiance until their throats were ash. The last transmission from Karos was not a declaration, but a plea. Stop, please, we yield. No answer came. By dawn, the Dominion was gone. Karos burned, its seas boiled, its cities glassed. Nothing remained but a warning carved in orbital wreckage. Never again. Aftermath, the whispered fear. When the fire ended, silence returned. The human fleets did not remain to occupy, to govern, or to claim territory. They vanished into the black as swiftly as they had emerged, their engines trailing the last embers of vengeance. The galaxy trembled. Where the Dominion once ruled, there was only ruin. Refugees whispered of Terran dreadnoughts with hulls like night, of soldiers who did not bleed, of voices colder than the void itself. Other empires, once mocking, now fell silent in fear. Treaties with humanity were signed without negotiation. Borders were redrawn around Sol, unchallenged. No alien dared to speak the word weak in reference to Earth again. In the decades that followed, the story of Erebos Prime became legend. Parents warned their children, never strike at Earth, never harm their kin, for their patience is deep as oceans, but their vengeance is infinite. And in the ruins of Karos, among the melted glass and twisted steel, scavengers swore they heard voices carried on the wind. Voices not of the dead, but of human ships still watching, still waiting, forgotten once, awoken once, ready to return should the galaxy ever forget.